Hey there, my name is Francesca, and welcome to the Book Nerd video blog. Today, we're going to talk about Harper Lee's most important literary piece, To Kill a Mockingbird. But first, let's talk about Harper Lee herself, shall we? Harper Lee was an American novelist from Alabama, United States. She won the Pulitzer Prize in 1961 for her first book, To Kill a Mockingbird, which is considered a classic of modern American literature. Lee only published 2 books in her whole life: her award-winning piece and its sequel, Go Set a Watchman. Go Set a Watchman was received with great reviews and was published last year. Lee confirmed that this book was To Kill a Mockingbird's first draft. Let's talk a little bit about the characters. Scout is a very curious girl, hot-headed at times, but she always speaks her mind and is very fond of her family and California. Along Jem, her brother, they are very smart and nice children, thanks to her father's and California's teachings. Let's talk about their father now. Atticus is a noble gentleman. He always treats everybody as his equal, even if they are colored people. He works all day long and only comes home to have dinner and spend time with his children. California is their maid. She is a colored woman, but she is very nice to the children and loves them very, very much. She is always with them and helps them along the story. Dale, the children's friend, is also an important character. He comes along one summer, making the Finches' day full of laughs, games, and plans to get Boo Radley out of his house. Who is Boo Radley? Boo Radley is the town's reclusive. He lives on the corner of the Finches' street and hasn't been seen out of his house for many, many years. That's why the children want to meet him so bad. The story takes place in Macomb County, a small town in Alabama, where nothing extraordinary ever happens, until Atticus is appointed a peculiar case that changes the Finch's life. Atticus, who is a respectable lawyer from Macomb County, has to defend Tom Robinson, a colored man who is accused of raping a girl from town. During the trial, Mayella Ewell accuses Tom Robinson of sexually assaulting her in her own property. Bob Ewell, her father, backs her up during the trial. Mayella is a 19-year-old who lives with her father and 7 siblings and takes care of the house and the family as if she were the mother. There's one thing you should know about the Ewells. They're not the most educated folks in town, and they are not economically stable. Tom Robinson, who worked in the field, had to go back and forth by the Ewells' property on his way home. During the trial, testimonies from both sides were heard, and they contradicted each other. Mayella's statement was very emotional, but it was also fragile and full of gaps. It was very clear that she was an unstable person. Tom Robinson's statement narrated a whole different situation, in which Mayella asked for his help and invited him into her house. Then, Mayella approached him and tried to kiss him, but Robinson rejected her. Soon afterwards, Mr. Ewell got home, and Robinson was forced to escape. In the trial, Atticus does everything in his power to prove the jury that his client is innocent, and that the Ewells are lying in order to cover the truth. After the trial, it seemed like Atticus had convinced the jury that Tom was innocent and that he had committed no crime. But the jury declared Tom guilty on doubtful evidence and convicted him for the rape of Mayella Ewell. Tom is sent to prison, and Atticus says that he will try to get the case revised. But Robinson is very desperate, and he tries to escape prison. Tom Robinson is shot 17 times during his attempt to escape prison. From the whole event, Scout learned a few things: that colored people are discriminated and held down by white people to their convenience, and that the way that they are all treated is just unfair and inhuman. That people will lie to cover up the truth, even if that means blaming someone else for something they never did, to save their own head. And that her father was a good-hearted man who had done the right thing by defending someone who he believed innocent, even when that person had skin as dark as ebony. Because Atticus had humiliated him and his family in front of all Maycomb during the trial, Bob Ewell declared revenge on the Finches. Bob Ewell even tried to attack Scout and Jem once when they were going home from school on Halloween night. While they were in front of the Radley place, Ewell came to them and attacked them with a knife. Thankfully for the children, Boo Radley had decided to get out of his house and help them. Once Bob Ewell was taken care of, Boo Radley took Scout and unconscious Jem to their home. And that's how it all ends, when Scout finally meets Boo Radley. Unfortunately, Jem was unconscious because Bob Ewell did get to him. But he was fine, he only got a broken arm. Now, in To Kill a Mockingbird, Lee narrates the reality of Southern citizens during the Depression, emphasizing in the way colored people were treated and the injustice they had to bear during that time. During Tom Robinson's trial, Lee illustrates the way a small town in Alabama worked, and how the line between white people and colored people during that time was drawn. The jury's verdict is not the only element that states how grave the discrimination towards colored people at the time was. The fact that the accused was the only person among white people and that the rest of the colored folks were up in the balcony illustrates the gravity of the situation. Lee also made it clear that not all white people were unfair and discriminated colored folks. Atticus Finch was the finest example. To me, Atticus was one of the most important characters in the story because of his actions and how he acted during the situation. Not only did he not care about the town's opinions, he also did what he thought was right and sought for a man's innocence when he had committed no other crime than having dark skin. Even though he knew the whole situation would bring all kinds of trouble to him and to his family, Atticus decided to fight for justice and tried with all his will to prove his client's innocence. Atticus is a combination of gentlemanship and bravery, and as a reader, I admire his act of defiance towards the legal system and society of southern United States during the Depression. A hard time and a rough place to fight for equal rights. What I like most about To Kill a Mockingbird is the narration. Lee describes the events of Macomb County so clearly that it is easy to imagine being Scout and seeing everything she sees with my own eyes. Scout's point of view is one of a kind because it transmits her unique personality through the pages, and her frustration about the whole injustice that takes place in the story is relatable. Another thing that I really enjoyed about the book was Tom Robinson's trial. Even though the jury made the wrong decision to declare Tom Robinson guilty, the events were incredibly narrated and very well described. It was easy for me to imagine myself being up in the balcony along Scout, listening to the Ewells' lies and Tom Robinson's declaration. How Atticus used his words in attempt to convince the jury of Robinson's innocence left me speechless, and I was very disappointed to see how unjust the whole situation turned out for Tom. I am very, very happy to have read Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird because it left me a lesson or two about American history and the gravity of the discrimination colored people had to endure with during the Depression. It is a great description about how the southern United States worked before the Declaration of Equal Rights between races. To Kill a Mockingbird is a beautifully written classic that deals with the topics considered unconventional for its time. I really enjoyed reading Lee's narration of the story, how she perfectly illustrated every scene, adding a sense of humor to the grim plot. I really, really like this book, and I recommend it to you, book nerds. If you're looking for a book to read, search no further. To Kill a Mockingbird is different to any other book I have read, and I am positive that you will enjoy it as much as I did. So, that's my To Kill a Mockingbird book review. I hope you find it very useful, and if you ever get to read the book, please leave your opinion on the comments below. Thanks for watching. Keep on reading, and see you next time!